Happy holiday season, everybody. As we sit down to discuss the current real estate market nationally, it's no question that the housing market has seen a dramatic shift this year. Coming off a very robust 2020 and 2021, it seems like the 2022 housing market has slowed down for both buyers and sellers. We've seen elevated mortgage rates, sluggish home sales, and high inflation take a significant toll on the market. But with all that said, it's unlikely that these issues will cause home prices to dramatically drop in 2023. Hi, I'm Bill Gustin with eXp Realty, and as an agent, it's my top priority to make sure my clients are thoroughly educated about the current market conditions, whether they're buying or selling. At the National Association of Realtors conference last month in Florida, after analyzing the current state of the market, Lawrence Yun, Chief Economist of the National Association of Realtors, gave his predictions for 2023. According to Yun, even with all the shifts in rates, inflation, and prices, we may see a further uptick in home prices for 2023. He says, for most parts of the country, home prices are holding steady since inventory remains low. In addition, distressed property sales foreclosures are almost non-existent, at just 2% nationwide. It's nowhere near the crash of 2008. And because home equity has boomed over the last few years, short sales are almost impossible. He also predicted an increase of 1% nationwide in the median home price and predicts that some markets will fare far better than others depending on their location. Now, of course, these predictions should be taken at face value. We all hope to see inflation and mortgage rates come down in 2023. And just as I remind my clients, we do not have a crystal ball to see exactly how things will play out. It's always best to connect with an experienced and trusted agent to give you all the latest market information. So now that we've looked at the market more broadly, let's review what took place in the month of November in Hamilton County, Indiana. Okay, so we've taken a look at the national forecasting for 2023 as it pertains to home pricing and sales. Now let's look at the local level here in Hamilton County for what took place in November of 2022. As we can see here in this infograph, we're going to look at the county as a whole and then break that down a little bit by different areas. But if we look here, initially you'll see that the median sales price in the month of November dropped about 4% down to $419,900. There were 436 homes sold in the month of November here in Hamilton County. That was a drop of right around 8.4%. The active inventory, that's the number of active homes currently in the market in Hamilton County, has dropped just slightly, less than a percentage point in November versus October. We've got a new listing drop of right 21%, 20.6 down to 369 homes. So these are the number of new listings in the month of October versus the number that were put on the market in November. Now, this could certainly be caused by the time of the year. Generally speaking, around the holidays, we can see a drop in terms of the number of new listings, as well as, again, that would kind of have an impact possibly on active inventory as well. The one number, obviously, we want to take a look at here, and this is kind of be a theme throughout the outlook for November, is that average days on market for the county did increase by a little over 42% to 37 days on market. Now, still, historically speaking, that is really a pretty low number, but compared to what we've been experiencing over the last 2 years, it is a pretty significant increase. So we do see homes on the market a little bit longer. Again, that could have some, the time of the year also as an indicator. We do tend to see that happen from time to time during the holidays. Again, homes are going to be on the market a little bit longer. The one thing that we do want to take a close look at that I thought was a really interesting statistic that I added here is that of the homes that were sold, those homes sold at right around 99.1% of the list price. So if your home was listed, let's say, for $300,000, you essentially sold your home for the same price, maybe just a little less than a percentage point less than that. So that indicates that we still have strong sales overall in the county. Again, just slightly below what we saw that was actually listed. So as a county, again, these are the numbers. We're going to go ahead and take a look at a breakdown. This is the information for the Fishers, Noblesville, and we'll call it Cicero area. This essentially is the Delaware, Fall Creek, Jackson, and Noblesville townships. And in November of this year, I should say, we will see that, again, the median sales price was right around 402,500, which was an increase over last month, or I should say October. There were a total of 221 homes sold, a slight increase in the number of units that sold last month. And the active inventory, so the number of homes that are currently on the market, did drop just a little bit, 1.4%. Again, we see the number of new listings went down by 20%. Again, this could have something to do with current market conditions. What's going on in the economy certainly has an impact or can play a role in some of these things, but also the time of year is also an indicator when it comes to new listings. And again, the average days on market, 27.8% increase, not as high as the overall county, but in these areas, we did see an increase. So we're right around 37 days on market average for these areas. When we take a look at Zionsville, Westfield, and Carmel for November 2022, this is generally speaking the Washington and Clay Township areas of the county. We do see here a median sales price decrease of 13%. So this is quite a bit different than the last area that we looked at. Median sales price, 453,500. Now, this is an area where home sale prices are generally more than anywhere else in the county. So we did see a drop there. There were a number of solds in this area, 188, a drop of 20% based between that and October. Active inventory has gone up 2.8%. So we do have a few more homes that are still on the market. Again, that is generally impacted because of increases in other areas or decreases in other areas. We say that the new listings is down 15% to 173 homes that are currently put on the market in November. And then the big indicator here really kind of carried the weight in terms of an overall average for the county was the average days on market. And you'll see here that there was an increase of over 60% average days on market in this area. We're at 38 days on average in this section of the county. Once again, some of that is market fluctuations and shifting in different metrics, not only on a nationwide basis. The economy, again, certainly could play a role in that. And then also you have to keep in mind, again, that this area does have some of the higher priced listings in the county. And generally speaking, you may see an increase in average days when you're looking at home prices that are selling for more than anywhere else in the area. And then finally, we took a look at, we're going to call this the Sheridan and other rural areas in the county. I use Sheridan because it's probably one of the larger towns in this section. This is the Adams, Wayne, and White River townships. Here you'll see, and these numbers certainly aren't nearly as high in terms of overall listings and solds, but we did see a median sales price of $278,000 for the month of November, which was down 6.6%. The number of solds up 35% to 27, but again, the numbers certainly are a little different here. We just have 27 properties that were sold, 35 active inventory, so actives that are on the market, which was a drop of 18.6%. We have a drop of 60% in terms of new listings. Again, there's only 13, so not really much to read here necessarily, but it does follow the same trends that we saw in the different areas of the county. And then overall, you'll see, again, average days on market right around 35. So between 35 and 38, essentially throughout all the county. This was an increase of almost 40%. Again, some of the metrics and things that we talked about already, play a role in this as well. So that does it for our market update, Hamilton County, Indiana, November 2022. If anyone has any additional questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or my team, as we'd love to be able to help answer anything we can for you. We want to make sure everyone has a wonderful holiday season. We look forward to putting out more content just like this in 2023. And as always, I'm Bill Gustin, your trusted partner and broker with eXp Realty.